One for the ticker. Hi, Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Sorry, folks, we're having a little bit of camera angle difficulty. All right, just to remind you, Historical Fencing Guild is a proud member of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. I kind of dropped my nifty sign, so we're going to go old school for now. The Rising Tide Broadcast Network is a wonderful collection of creators and authors who put out neat content to help build each other up and build others up. So look them up on Facebook. As always, the Historical Fencing Guild is also brought to you by the Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe, both available on Amazon at www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockert. That's me. The Simple Sword is the most condensed, simplest to read, most accessible system for learning how to make a sword go that I know of in existence. The Axe is the first in a series of fighting manuals that are going to focus on different weapons and styles to build on what we learned in this to make every weapon you fight more and more accessible. All right, it is also brought to you by my wonderful Patreon patrons. So you guys are wonderful. Okay, Steve Clausen says, remind me to stop being lazy. Yeah, get the review on the Axe done. Steve, stop being lazy and get the review on the Axe done. No, Steve is one of our Patreon patrons. He is just Steve is my first sword level. He is just a dear friend and a wonderful person to know. The Patreon, if you're interested, is patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild. That's me. Hey, Thesis. We got Steve. We got Thesis. People are coming in. This is really good. Guys, we got a few things to start rattling through, but depend on whom you have. You know, if you've never made an enemy, you've never stood up for anything. So, but these things happen. And frankly, in most of the circles, you're not liked. I'm not liked either. Hello, Michaela Jade. Always great to have another pro author and wonderful lady like yourself come wandering through our hollowed halls. Guys, so hi. We got a lot to talk about this week, actually. First, we're going to go through a little bit of industry news. We'll go through some site news, and I'll start talking about some of the subjects that really got to me. As always, feel free to interrupt and derail as needed. First off, I went looking through Purple Heart Armory today, and as always, I do that every week. They have some good sales. Their night shop part sales are really their clearance ends at the 29th. So it's a real good opportunity if you're using the Rawling Synthetic Sword, Red Dragon Sword, hybrid. Oh, a few here, 40 years on the planet. Most of them started as friends. On that topic, it isn't the knife in the back that hurts. It's when you turn and you see the face of who put it there. But I have my whole life had friends who taught me that people are kind of not very trustworthy. So I accept that, I embrace it, and I move on. So somehow my thing says there's only one watcher. I don't know if YouTube's being weird. Give me just a second, guys. And I know you would never, Steve. Never, ever. All right. But I also want to remind you guys about the Hungarian. Thanks for the like. The Hungarian Saber kit is on sale, and you get 2 of the sabers plus a book on Hungarian saber fighting and focus fencing, which is basically a walking stick with an axe on the end. It makes me happy, and it's cheaper by $5 than buying just the 2 sabers. So it's a really good deal at $75. I wanted to mention that. It's out there in the nether. This is in the ether, in the nether. Yes, I'm a bit of a Minecrafter, and sometimes it slips over into what I'm doing here. Wow. Okay, first off, hi, Foxy. I understand you're busy. Secondly, I am so jealous that there are empanadas in the future. Do I need it? Hold off on that, Steve, because there's other things floating that I'm going to have to save up for. And if I'm going to tap you for support on something like that, I have other goodies that I really probably should lean into. But I want to see if I can do a homebrew version first, because that's who I am. Okay. All right. We do have some big announcements. We are looking at July to open back up the Historical Fencing Guild's live practices. The exact date, but my wife got her first stabbing today for the unmentionable disease that YouTube hates for us to say. And I'll be getting my lycanthropy inoculation sometime next week. So what we've placed out when that's our next dose hits, and then when we'll be considered actually able to associate with people, and that puts us pretty much into normalcy, at least for us, by July. I'm excited about that because that gives me a time frame to work on upgrading the facilities a bit. So I will be tapering off on my planned orders of reviewed items. I'll still be getting a few because there's one that I kind of had to put aside, but I want to review them. It's just to review them, I have to buy two, and that's a little bit more than I normally throw at a product for review. So that is coming up. So yes, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the local guilds get the to get the practices going, and that means outdoor practices as weather includes. Hey, you know what? Yeah, that's what we're doing. I want to. Well, I haven't quite decided what day yet, but I definitely want to get that set up for everybody who's been inoculated. That way, it's safe, and we can start doing what we do again. I want to lose weight before then, so I'm kind of going to be pushing it a bit. I got way behind on my previous goal, and I don't know if I'll be able to make my goal, but we'll see. That being said, I'm also hoping to upgrade the facilities around here. It's just all contingent on health and capabilities. Now, I got some questions about neck knives through my messenger, so I want to address them because it brought up a really neat question. Yeah, let's set some set some goals as a group. Okay, Steve, are you looking like weight loss goals, training goals, facility upgrade goals? Tell me what you're thinking of as goals that I can support. And there will be recorded stuff. Some people don't like to be recorded, so I have to do that song and dance, but it will be much more prominent because people miss watching the fights. Now, I want to talk to you guys, and Steve, feel free to respond or whatever. That is awesome. I want to be under 300 pounds by the time in 4 months. I don't know if I can do it. Yes, that is a big number. I spent nearly 2 months immobile, essentially, because of a really bad reaction to a nerve test. And next month, I meet with the doctor to see the results in that. So, that's my goal. I haven't really talked about it outside of personal, and it's wonderful. Yeah, I put on a lot of weight, and stress got me a few other things. So it's just about fighting it, and we're gonna see what happens. And if I don't make it, then I move the goal, because if it stresses me, it'll worsen. Exactly, Steve. Brat. Now, I found what you. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I am very fond of short, curvy women. When you meet my wife, if you ever do, you'll understand that it is something of an addiction. Now, I want to talk to you guys about neck knives, because I want to talk about the neck knife you carry and why you carry it. Now, what does that mean? Everybody here, anyway, should know. Oh, by the way, 4 watchers, 1 like. If you guys aren't liking what I'm doing, do tell me. This, of course, is my Cricut minimalist Foltz design, one of my all-time favorite knives. This is in Bowie, and this was a Gears, but I have since worn all the paint off. I do prefer the black paint job, but I may see about either getting replacement sheaths for a black one or switching to a black one someday. So I really do like the glow-in-the-dark aspect because it's helped me find it a couple times. But now we're going to compare this. This guy runs between 20 and 30 bucks with the Sheffield Bolo, which you guys have seen on this channel before. Hey, who knows? We can, on the guild channels and stuff, we will, the Patreon. Maybe I'll just do a Patreon meetup. That would be cool. I mean, that's reasonable numbers for now. Maybe I could set up something where we just have a Patreon meetup. Oh, that'd be awesome. Now, okay. This is my Sheffield Bolo. Now, these are obviously slightly different in part for copyright avoidance, although this is clearly a knockoff on this. And they look close enough that one's slightly larger. You don't see much of the difference till you grip them. Now, if I have to try to make a male fist for this to make a fence. Actually, no, I don't. I'll do my normal fist. If you look at how these are held, let me get these at an angle. If I keep the thumbs in the same position, the grip is the same. This is a fairly unnatural side-by-side for me. It's actually quite uncomfortable. But do you see the blade alignment? It's about 45 degrees different. Blade alignment. Now, why is that important? Well, let's talk about it. I would definitely be happy to set up some kind of Patreon only special video chat session just to reward you guys and get us all in a digital room. If that's something, you know what? We're not on Patreon, but that's something you guys like. Okay, I will make a poll on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild. Look for the boot, which I think is down here. And if people want, we'll set up something where we can do that. Maybe we can do even a public recorded session. Might be entertaining. We'll talk over what people like. Now, Steve, it wouldn't surprise me if you had access to the USS Enterprise. So we could definitely set up something cool. Guys, I'm not trying to be exclusive about this. It's just those nice folks pay me. And if you want in on it, $1 a month buys access to exclusive documents, polls to determine what shows up on this channel, what products I review. Really consider it. Getting back to these knives. Okay, I want to talk about the orientation of these two knives. Why are these angled like this? Well, it comes to the nature of the use of this knife. This knife, which I use constantly, locks in, and it locks in better, of course, in my left hand because this is a male grip, so straight locking works. But my right hand actually likes it. Having this angle of blade with the handle gives you very good fine control for tool use. So for those of us who are a bit on the bushcrafter side, which I used to be and I need to be again, making something like a feather stick or doing carving, I use this as a tool every day. This is part of the reason why I carry it. But if I present it in a defensive manner, so if I'm looking to fight somebody, this blade angle puts the blade very high. Now I'm going to see if I have enough hand to do this. Now, do you see the difference of the threat of viability here? This is a better tool knife. I have fine muscle control, can use it for carving. This design is a better fighting knife. This design, while I can still carve with it, I found the angle was a little off. I ended up carving with this sweet spot instead of the more flat low end of the blade, which is where I like to work. This, however, and I'm becoming increasingly fond of this curve. So I'm going to put it in the sheath. The sheath doesn't change it. I just don't want to risk a tremble cutting my finger. This curve gives me a very positive forward grip, making it much easier for me to have a presented point, a presented tip of the knife. But I can still definitely use this tooly. I can cut with things. I can chop with this. It's not a bad little paring knife concept. Now, to go to the extreme of the straight, we'll take this. I love this knife. This is the, I want to say this is the Feather by Cool Hand. It is a synthetic knife. Yes, it is. And I positively love this grip. It still, it switches because of the angle and the gimping. Some say jimping. I'm really not sure. It's still, but you have that forward. Still very forward. This is a fighting knife. And I want to say that they were so, different, but if you look at them upon handling them, they're really like, if you look at the point alignment, it starts to become, oh, this is cool. I can show you guys, and this is good knife buying stuff. The angle of the point as it presents. Now, maybe it's hard to get all the knives lined up, but the spine puts that there, so there we go. This is very close to being, there we go. It's kind of hard to line up in my hand, but you can see the different angles. Now, because this is a carbon fiber knife, wrong knife to the sheath, Nick, you're juggling sharp things again. It is not one for a lot of tool use. You could use it, but it doesn't hold up well because at the end of the day, it's not steel. For poking the snot out of something, it's very good. And soft level cutting like meat or soft people, short term, yeah, it's a great fallback. Not quite reliable enough for me to consider it a dive knife yet. I'm very particular on dive knives because they're so important. But it's a neat concept. I'd like to see more synthetic materials used in knives. But let's talk about this. This is definitely for me a tool knife. It's why I choose it. I wear it in part as a deterrent because the knife out bothers certain classes of individuals. They don't like it. Some get stupid and think they can make a grab for it, and that's all well and good. But the vast majority are avoided. And then when they're looking for trouble, their eyes are on this. They're not on my hands. This is also good. This guy is a bit more aggressive. It's just the nature. It's a thicker blade. It's a heavier blade, longer. This is a bit of a fighting knife. And I'm not saying it is a bad thing. Even Foltz himself made I believe it's called the Ritual, which is a dramatic, aggressive. It's basically a little tiny hand scimitar. Really neat knife. I think that's CRKT too. But this is an aggressive knife. I can still tool with this. Now, this is a punch dagger. Give me a second. Highly concealable. This would be theoretically a punch augmentation device. Basically, you poke and go. But I find it much less stable for any tool use. So this is very much more a dedicated weapon. Plus, the engineer mind of mine is not real happy with the thickness of the steel. This is a good knife. It's a good fallback knife, and it's a hell of a lot better than not having a knife. If you need a knife and don't have one, this is brilliant. But for a survival concept, I'd almost be more likely to take these side sheaths off because there's an interesting. Let me show you something about this. Nice retention lock. I like that. And there's inside the side sheath. Let me see if I can get it. There's gimping. I'm going to answer that. That's a good question. It's a good comment. So my thought is, for survival purposes, I think I would be more inclined to actually get a little hex thing and try taking these grip enhancers off, and then this becomes essentially an easily lashable spear point type item or arrowhead type item, more than a traditional fighting knife. I'm just worried that this is going to break, or my hands are going to slide right past it mid punch. Punch daggers and I are not always the best, but it's a neat knife. It was given to me by James Robertson, and I really do love this little knife. Now, to answer the comment, yes, I don't have a cord on either of these. The simple reason is both of these had the keychain bead style cords, which are favored because they break away very easily. As you can see, my neck knives, the CRKTs, have this like hoodie zip stop stop, spring loaded stop. Now these, unless you pull directly on it or you squeeze on it, I've never had one of these fail. But the idea is, if you're falling, you get tangled in some roots, you're not going to hang yourself. It's going to snap off rather than hurt you, which is why I will always consider a neck knife when you're out in the woods as a backup. It's also good for edge maintaining. But these guys don't have it. This one can take paracord, but I haven't decided if I want to do that or if I want to sew it into something. And this has a non-standard little thing, but little tiny holes. So again, this might get sewn into something as a second or third last stitch. Now, Bladed Thesis have you seen the new karambit style folders that Doug Mercaida designed? I have to look at that before I respond. So what I will do is, while I'm doing Doug Mercaida folding karambit. Bum, 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 bum. Let's look at some images. Okay. Nice. That is interesting. That is very, very interesting. Now, Steve knows I have played with no, Steve. Yeah, here you go, Steve. Smile. Smile, Steve. There's love. I have played with his karambit. I think, what is it, the Fox? He had a very nice training karambit. But I don't like folding karambits as a rule. And the reason for that is this. The extra step of death. Sorry, Steve. It happened. Any knife. There are a lot of knives with knuckle guards. There are a lot of knives with rings. Yeah, the Fox Dart. That's very good. I like that knife. I just don't like anything that retrain. Now, it's okay when it's at the ring to an extent, but any folder, because I have scars on my fingers. I have many scars on my fingers. I don't know how many of them show up. They're faint, but you'll see that extra set of white lines. If I get right that, you see the little ridges in here and over here. Okay, cool. But almost all my wounds have come from folders failing or not folding right or coming unfolded. That's why, if you notice, more and more, I really like a sheathed fixed blade knife. I just find them to be much safer and more reliable. And I know there are amazing folders out there. And I have no problem with that. Some of them are great. And I'll carry a multi-tool, but the multi-tool is a little tiny guy, and it's in its pouch still because I've cut myself. See, that's too bad. But that's me. Now, karambits are neat because I have heard tale of people convincing their bosses that this is a safety box cutting karambit. And the trick is you open boxes like this, and it prevents your hands from getting likely under the blade. It's a retention thing. And I've actually known some people who couldn't carry their normal pocket knife, but they could carry a karambit because, they rolled a 20 on persuasion that this was actually a safety tool. And I will say that's a whole lot safer than a lot of those stupid box cutters. Safety equipment should never make the job more dangerous. And I've used the guarded box cutters that have that hook. And if they just let me use any of my open knives, it would have gone so much faster, been so much safer. You're gonna scratch product. I'm not gonna scratch product. They're defensive. Yeah. So it's interesting. One neat point that Steve showed me, and I've actually become fond of it, is the training karambits, especially the folding training karambits as a control tool. Because I'm of a mentality that when I'm thinking in terms of defense, you either have to commit to lethality or you commit to pain distribution. And I'm a big fan of pain. Pain is good. Pain is your friend. It teaches you things and it reminds you you're alive. If that sounds like something I've mentioned, I'm an old fan. I know good pain. I know bad pain. I have paid attention. Pain maybe has been, at points, my only companion in life. And in those dark hours when I felt all alone, at least I had my physical pain to remind me where I was. But the problem with a very sharp knife is it's possible to cut out somebody and they don't even know it. Which that could be good or bad in some situations, but in others, the pain is supposed to be a deterrent, and I'd hate for the deterrent to not only fail to stop them from doing whatever I'm trying to stop them to prevent them from doing, e.g., the commission of some type of felony, but then kill them after. So not only have they done what I didn't want them to do, I have to deal with the threat of the ramifications of their death. Now, all morality for now aside, in a self-defense situation, wow, pardon me, have a bit of frog in my throat. Better? Okay. You have to look at what neutralizes the threat. A lot of times the best way to neutralize the threat is applied cowardice. You simply run. There is no shame in that. There's no problem with that. When in doubt, get the heck out. And that's not usually how I say it, but I do try to watch my language on this channel. That being said, if you do something to defend yourself, okay, good. I want you alive. There's a saying, I'd rather be judged by 12 of my peers than carried by 6 of my family. And that's true. But me, I would rather avoid it altogether. Business. So keeping in mind and being able to demonstrate a limited response. So one thing that's I've been seeing, and I wanted to get into that, is see, I know somebody goes, I can talk, and I go, I carry this as a tool. If I'm ever in legal and they look up these videos to use against me, I carry this as a tool. If I have reached for this, it is a last ditch, a failure of every possible thing. And I've exhausted talking, I've exhausted running, I've tried to give them, what I had. At that point, all bets are off, but I want it very obviously laid out that I didn't go looking for trouble. Now, why am I bringing that up? I'm a little annoyed with something. It's cool, but I'm annoyed with it. The martial arts community is re-embracing canes as tools of self-defense. Now, anybody who's watched this channel, and of course, my good canes are not in here right now, but you guys know I favor a basic cane because I have limited mobility. But because my mobility is limited, I tend to train with what I carry. This is logic. Very often, that is my long range tool. If I have to defend myself, it's like stay back. I want space. I don't want to engage you. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you look at some of the canes that are being developed for defensive use today, some of them are obviously so. It's like a while ago, Cold Steel put out this wonderful hiking axe cane. And I never did get my paws on one. And I wanted to. But it sort of got discontinued. It's hard. And then I still intend to at some point. But I do have some problems with it because here's the thing. If I have to use a cane in self-defense and I talk to the cops, if I'm using I can't remember it, the 10, hold on, he made it for Cold Steel. The tension walking stick cane. Okay, I've considered reviewing it, and I wouldn't mind seeing it, but it looks a bit aggressive. It looks potentially problematic. Sorry, I got sucked in for a second, guys. And what you want is something that doesn't. I've seen a few different rigs. Yes, actually, I do. It is on my to-order list for review. I have to go through a few other things that people want more. But if I go walking with something that looks aggressive, I've seen sharp and pointed, tactical fighting canes. They're beautiful. They're knurled. They're shaped to do stuff. That can look to a jury like you're going out looking for trouble. Now, my usual cane is a custom canes cane, but my wife is borrowing it right now. And it has a little fire on the bottom, and it's a T-handle cane. It works well, has some paracord to help me keep my hand on it. If I have to defend myself with it, I absolutely can. It's very light. I can make it go. But and when the cops go, yeah, the best thing is if you have to use a cane, you want to look like you were walking and that's what you had. This avoids the sense of premeditation. This is important. Thank you for the like. Now, one other thing I'm seeing is a lot of people are doing cane training, and it's really powerful. It's good. I'm seeing some good stuff. I'm seeing some really bad stuff. And I'm seeing very little trained from the perspective of actually needing it to assist in your walking. There are a lot of people, I can carry a cane anywhere. It's an excuse to have a stick. I'm totally for it. God bless America. Second Amendment applies to sticks. Like, there should be no argument with sticks. There should be no argument with knives. But, yeah. You still have to get through the realities of it. And yeah, I still love cane swords. I love cane swords. Oh, wonderful, Cindy Cap, one of my favorite people. I hope you saw that I shared some fans. I found some fans at varying prices and weights, because while a steel fan is sturdier for combat, if it was too much for your wrist or whatever, I found some really cheap, very large bamboo fans that might work too. Okay, that's a neat question. Bladed Thesis. I know that you don't like flexible weapons, but do you think of a kunai tied to a rope used by Scorpion in the new Mortal Kombat? Is it a viable weapon? And to Steve, Texas does tempt me sometimes, but I am in a house that needs a lot of repair, and my situation is not exactly mobile. But yes, I understand. Now, I feel bad saying this because I don't like flail weapons. I don't like nunchucks. I don't like weapons that come back to bite you. But I might have a bit of a soft spot for rope dart or meteor weights, meteor stones. Basically, the weight on the string, because I think that's really cool. Hyper aggressive yo-yos. I kind of dig it. I've always kind of dug it, but it's so impractical. I can't bring myself to talk much about it because so much of what I do is about being practical and reasonable and effective. But that is kind of on my style bucket list. We'll put it that way. Is it viable? It is a trick weapon. And it is a trick weapon that can easily be problematic. It can be taken from you as a thing. So I am not like, I don't condone it, but at the same time, if you realize that's what it is, it can be a lot of fun and it has potential. Hammer meteor hammer. I knew it was the word. There. Yes, I've seen that. I actually love the movie Ninja Assassin, but rule of cool. But actually, if you want really neat rope stuff, look up someone by the name of Flo Mayhem. She's a fire dancer and she does flaming, essentially meteor hammer. It is unbelievably cool. And some of it, like, I can see that for cool. I can see that for the cool factor. Can I see it as a viable, likely weapon choice? Real world, no. You make it a fantasy D&D, something like that, you can have a lot of fun with it. But there's the problem with Mortal Kombat, aside from it being a bit more graphic than what I can get usually into too much. It's not that I just don't stomach it like I used to. Part of being an empath and part of living in a house where we all watch basically the same TV. All the fighting styles in Mortal Kombat have a heavy magic element. Okay, there's a layer of magic that doesn't really get discussed, but it's there. Okay, well, that's nothing wrong with that, Foxy. Not knowing what you're doing in the kitchen, that happens. Sometimes great stuff comes out of it. Good God, heaven help us if you ever get to see me cook. I cook kind of like Cowboy Kent. Well, about that much will do you. If not, hold on. Needs more garlic, you know. Measurement is for bakers. Would you be able to make a practice trainer for someone who wanted something like that? I tried many years ago, and I kind of want to work, and it kind of worked bad. No one trained with him. Like I said, you haven't known me well enough to know just how important me saying it's on my weapon bucket list is. It's not hard. The trick is don't overthink it. A properly secured tennis ball on a chunk of, I would go with old-fashioned paracord because I'm a big paracord fan. Can make a really good meteor dart trainer, he said quietly, not talking about why he knows that. But, and it's a lot safer. The trick is you don't overthink it. You know, I am all about SSO, sword simulating objects. I mean, you're talking to the guy who made the sword cane trainer. We could definitely make one a bit. I have to quite figure out which knot style, but basically using a knot like you would for making a monkey's paw, if you're familiar with those. Sydney kept saying, "Oi, there's some baking things I've done without measuring anything." Yes, but that takes a refined art. And the one thing I've found, when people have been baking a long time, it isn't as much as it feels right. They've done it so often that they can, like my wife can put an exact amount of flour in the palm of her hand, dump it in, and if you weigh it, you'll put it in the measure, it is exactly within a few, like, parts of an ounce or milliliters or whatever you're measuring of the actual measurement, just because she's done it so long. I threw that out there because my good buddy Steve is a chef. I know several. Some of them are tactical. I used my usual PVC foam insulation with like the dart. I was meaning something more like sight measuring. My wife could do it. I could do it on a few dishes. I make some mean drop dumplings. Like I said, I would start with the tennis ball approach, because that's going to teach you all your rope management. That's going to teach you your range and speed. And then you could making a padded kunai trainer. I don't know, given the amount of force that you're throwing around with that, I would want to have the PVC core. Simply because the failure rate on the from all the centrifugal force, you're putting a lot more reverse pull on something like that. So I would almost say perhaps a solid ring, even brass, or something. Oh, thank you, Peter. Hey, Peter's an old friend, old guildie. Hi, it's been so long. Awesome. But yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like the background. It's a little bunched, but I'm not really tinkering with it too much today. It's up. No shoggoths are attacking. Life is good. Oh yeah, Peter, check this out. I don't know if you've gotten to see I made a sword game trainer. But yes. You know what? Wow. I bet Cindy Kep could make an amiguri amiguri kunai. Because it would just be built along, and if it was something like that where it's constructed like a string base instead of the foam, it's not going to fail in the same way. As long as the ring has to be a very good solid piece, either rigid plastic, brass, some non-corroding metal, aluminum maybe, or a big rubber O-ring, because if you used a stout rubber O-ring, it would squeeze on impact, but be solid enough to hold the form, and then you just try it. Oh yeah, okay, because Pete hasn't been around. So before I go, yeah, I think between the two of you guys, you can make an amigurumi kunai and it would work. Yes. Okay, half-inch PVC male-to-male connector. We figured this out to be about 48 inches long. This is just an HDPE rod. And believe it or not, all I did was wrap a few rubber bands around it and wedge it in to the, this is, I have the measurements. I'll have to double check it again. But there's just, you can see it sticking out a little bit. It acts like an O-ring. Nice. So, because then it's just keeping blade alignment on a thing. But yeah, I made this. I'm looking forward to trying it out. In case you weren't here, in July, I'll be opening up the house for local practices and things. And I do have a Patreon if you want to kick in and get in on the votes. And I'm going to start doing more custom Patreon only videos and things because you guys deserve it. What's great is every time I try to do that, my Patreon guys are like, "Nah, Nick, it's okay. You can share it with everyone because they're that cool." But yeah, so we should be able to do that. Kunai. Yeah, so something like that. I really am a cleric. Like at heart, despite an old nickname to the contrary, one of the few that is stuck, I really am a bit of a cleric because I'm like, I like concussive weapons for not having to kill people. Yo-yos. The Cleric Quintet by R.A. Salvatore was one of my favorite books. Book. But very, very good. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, that's a kunai is basically an arrowhead with a loop on it. If you need more details, I can give somewhere there was a trainer of them going around, but it wasn't mine. It was one of the people who are really into Naruto, which is eh. Yeah, that's right. I said Naruto is eh. Not bad, but eh. I'm gonna go. You're gonna get shades? Now, wait. Why are you getting shades? What did shades do? I just couldn't exactly. It was. I saw a lot of it, but a little kitty, a little, and I tend to like my ninja anime a bit more ninja anime. I'm funny. Like I love Rurouni Kenshin Samurai X. Wonderful series. I like it better earlier, which sounds funny, but because as the styles get more beyond perception, the animator started to take shortcuts. Oh god. There's another. If you want to talk anime, this is off topic, but we can get off topic. There is an anime. It's a little weird. Oh, Naginata. Love me some Naginata. Well, you know that, John. And yes, I will try to review that video, repair that video and put it up. It's a little glitchy. But Le Chevalier d'Aeon has some incredible fencing scenes. It gets weird later on. I'm going to warn you. There's some body switching, Psalms-based sorcery. It gets really weird, but there's some neat there. I'm getting to about anime. Well, see, part of the problem is you can't treat the word anime. Well, I'm really off topic. But you can't treat it like people say anime like I don't like action movies or I don't like kid movies or, I don't like comedies. Anime is a genre like saying a movie. No, John, no nunchucks. No nunchucks. No flail weapons. Although, it will be neat to bring you around more when the world shifts, if anything, because I want to see you and Steve spar. But, God, I don't like weapons that fight back. Go ahead, John. My solution to you is an auto ballista. Pop, 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 pop. Okay, the word you're looking for is sword chucks. Yo! And obscure webcomic fans will know I'm referencing 8-Bit Theater. And if you haven't watched it, like, Lotus Wars was great. The first season of Sword Art was pretty good. It gets worse the longer it goes on. Ronin Tension or Samurai X is very good. I actually really enjoyed it. If you can handle some old-fashioned ultra-violence, Ninja Scroll. But you're looking at very mature, dark themes. I'm not recommending it lightly. I knew Steve was going to say Gun Art Online was awful. I was waiting. There are ways to annoy my buddy Steve. I love Steve dearly. But I can sort of annoy him, and all I have to do is say, "Hi, Steve." This annoys Steve. But I can annoy Steve with the phrase, "You're predicting the prediction lines." He's aiming. Sorry. Or looking where they're aiming. Prediction lines from Gun Gale Online were for people too stupid to understand the concept of a laser pointer. Not a laser sight, a laser pointer. Okay, sorry. This geek out was brought to you by him. Okay, you tried Rolling Kenshin, Blood, Death Note. Nothing really. A few others I won't name. And that's okay. It may not be your thing. I do like Vampire Hunter D and the second one, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, are incredible. The art in Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust is some of the best art you will find in any animation ever made. Hard stop. It is gorgeous. I like Gundam. Gundam can be very good. We'll talk. I'll have an anime day because I don't want to go too far off topic. But let me make sure. Let me see. Oh, guys, yeah, I had another concept I really wanted to get into. I was going through watching some YouTubers talk about what their favorite styles are of martial arts. SpongeBob is not allowed in my house. I do not allow SpongeBob. I don't want my son watching it. I find SpongeBob to be disgusting often and idiotic, and I really am anti-SpongeBob. Nick's hot take of the moment. But getting back on, I've been talking for a long time about how when people spar, whatever style, there are only so many motions and so many things that work. And I was looking at a review of what several senseis, martial arts instructors thought were the best martial art, which weren't And what they start to talk about is, well, they sure look alike. And I got focused on a Wing Chun conversation, which anybody who really knows me from way back knows I used to be Sword Sage's Wing Chun smart, dumb sparring partner. I didn't know the art, so I would let him do things, and then I would then oppose. And one thing that many martial artists don't train is with actual resistance. So we need to, so we would work on that. But what they were talking about is they were looking at some of what's considered the best arts, which, God, not Lechi. I say it wrong. Lethway. Basically, it looks like Muay Thai with more headbutts. Muay Thai and a few other things. And that you start getting to it. And one of the guys, I wish I remembered his name, I'm sorry I can't credit him, said it's like setting up Canadian geometry. The science of something is going to work. Live pal. I was live pal. The science of it is going to work whoever you are and however. So when you start trying to make cultural significance, there are only so many ways to throw a punch. There are so many ways to block a punch. You can kicks, voids, etc. There are only a set amount of movements. And when you start finding what works, the styles start to distill down and start looking very similar. This is why a whole lot of mixed martial artists look very similar in their fighting, save for a few variants. They have the way they fight, their timing. Maybe they favor one style of kick versus one style of knee, etc. So look, I want to get to that question because it's a very good question. Yes, a black belt is what you hang your weapons on. Steve is a big Krav guy. And the other thing is sporterization happens. Sporterization is when you take an art and you evolve it to be more safe for practice, usually with younger people, with a system where you can score it. The term I heard, this is not my term per se, but the gentleman was talking about Taekwondo versus karate, whatever. And he said, basically called Taekwondo safe space karate. And that was funny. I'm not bashing it. I don't bash any style because I want you to find what works for you. Unless it doesn't work or isn't doing what's advertised. Oh, okay, wait. Thesis. Wait a thesis. I cannot not. If you said, as Mr. Miyagi says, in Okinawa, black belt mean no need rope to hold up pants. God, I cannot do a Pat Morita right now to save me. But yes, I heard it in his voice. Now, I want to get back to a comment that a thesis said. John's responding to it. Gear that fits covers well. Protection is the key. Weight versus protection also. Those who are my Patreon members know I have been requested to write some books, and one of them is the Poor Swordsman's Guide, or Poor Swordmaster's Guide, but the Poor Swordmaster's Guide to Armor and the Poor Swordmaster's Guide to Arms, or how to train on a next to a non-existent budget. So I'm going to answer that question, but instead of just me sitting here prattling too much, which I will do because that's it, I'm also going to be writing up at bare minimum an article on that very subject, and I will try to have that out by next week. That sound good? In the short term, at least an article version. I intend to expand that into a couple books because I'm on a mission to get 12 publications out in 2021. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about building up from the bottom, matching your armor to your arms, and what you want. So there's a lot to go out of there. So, and a lot of it's personalized. But if you want, let's go basic protection. Okay. There are a couple things you have to protect yourself from when you're talking armor. You have, impact. Impact? What kind of impact? Abrasion or cut. And you also have heat. Very light contact, probably pretty slowly. Okay. Barest minimum, I would say face protection. If you're going extremely slow, you can possibly get away with the mesh airsoft masks. But a fencing mask, a good 3 weapons mask, is always a good idea. Now, there are people say, well, if you're using buffers, you don't need a mask. First off, you always need eye protection. Okay. I've known people who've had torn corneas from duct tape from a boffer. Eye protection always. You also, teeth. Your teeth, considering a mouth guard or full face, possibly both. Purple Heart sells mouth guards, actually very inexpensive. I have an affiliate link. That's what it's there for, guys. Be sure to use it. So a fencing mask should always be, and that's one thing you buy. You just buy a decent fencing mask. I've had a couple for nearly 20 years. I will be replacing mine soon. Yes, sport glasses are wonderful. Those are a wonderful start, especially if you're not intending face shots. But I don't like to stop face shots because that makes training scar. And what you train is what you will fight. So if you ever have to deploy what you've learned here offensively, and defensively in the street, etc., I don't want a lot of training scars. Calibration can be done with pretty easily whilst defending yourself because of the next level adrenaline. But in the case of, obviously you want groin protection for both of you. Plastrons, some type of chest protection. These you should wear even if you're light going. Now, if you are using buffers, something like that, and some stout gloves should be sufficient. Lacrosse gloves are a great place to go if you can afford them. I don't know how much money you can put into it. Tactical gloves or mechanics gloves with some armoring can help a lot too for light grade stuff. This is where it depends, because if you're just using buffers, that's actually a bit of overkill. But I want you to train with encumbrance. I want you to wear, like John says, a gorget. You can get knee, elbows, hands cheap at sporting goods stores, or there used to be a place called Play It Again Sports. Use sporting goods shops. Look online. Look on eBay. You tell me what you're looking for, and I will do a bunch of online research for you because I'm all about safety. But match it to what you're doing. If you are foil fencing, for example, puncture protection is key. That's where the SCA fencing standard of a fencing jacket or 4 layers of trigger, that sort of stuff, is crucial because you're not trying to stop the blade from doing damage. You're trying to stop a broken blade with a sharp point from impaling you. That being said, I will argue with the SCA, at least mid-realm, all day that heavy rapier, this guy, okay, cuts happen even if you don't mean them to. And I don't just mean nice draw cuts. I will say I have creases cleaved in my 3 weapons mask from Dr. Ronaldo Di Beretta, a.k.a. Lord Damien Nighthawk. Yes, I dropped his name because in tourney he creased a 300 Newton mask. And everyone who fights him has dings from where the right shot happens. I will say this is more labor intensive than I thought it would be. No, don't worry about it. Okay. Now I am talking about the most, the safest, okay? It has to be tailored to your level of control and what you're doing. Also understand that this is a public venue. I have to be very careful to always encourage perhaps excessive levels of caution here. We will talk later. Yeah. And I will say remember, it was a Schlager that hit and broke 3 of my ribs and tore 5 from my sternum in a match. It was a thrust, a lunge that hit just right. It was a double lunge, but that was at a sponsored, it hit, that happened. I have the x-rays. Actually, I don't have the x-rays offhand, but I do have the they still show up. So chest protection. In your case, if you're doing buffers and you're going very light and gentle, eye protection to start out, some kind of sport goggle. Hand protection is good. We're going to talk about plastrons. We're going to talk about, I know this is daunting and it seems expensive. Right. You have to, especially when you're training with someone new. The most dangerous people are the people who don't know a lot and the people who know an extreme amount. So we'll talk about the buffers, and we'll talk about, but bare minimum eye protection. And like I said, we can talk. I'm going to write up the article. Give me a week to write up a basic article on armoring to help. Some of it actually is in the simple sword. I talk about making bracers in here. I talk about making gorgets in here, which is neck guards. A lot can be done. Basic armoring we talk about. Look, there's a pattern for making gorget and how to do it. It's almost like I was planning it. The chest protection and more heavy gear I was planning to talk about in the strong sword. But we'll talk about it. Guys, it does not need to be expensive, especially if, let me put it this way. Give me an actual number of what you can throw. Oh, new requirements. Oh, okay, yeah. I will throw that on the private group, or I will throw that on the Patreon group. Because part of what we do, the requirements shift for what we're doing. What does that mean? Guys, on any given practice, we may have open-handed sparring. We may have staff. We may have fencing. We may have concussive sword armor. I'll be talking to John possibly about arranging, especially if we can get stuff together, to pool resources to maybe do a bulk order. But plus, not to be mean, but she's awful at it. She wanted to. Okay. Who? Okay, Blade Thesis. Foxy's sister. No, Ooh, there will be mats soon. Ooh, that means my garage is going to have to get cleaned out and upgraded. Oh, no! Guys, I'm going to shout for a second. You might want to turn down your volumes. I'll wave to let you know to turn it up. Steve says mats may be coming in our future. She didn't hear me. That's okay. Cool. Mats will allow for some of the tumble. And like I said, some of the stuff I want to do is self-defense. There may be a little more hands-on. Even if I'm not physically able to do it, I want to facilitate. And there's going to be a trade-off in it. Let's be honest. I have neuropathy. My joints have something. I may have to step back and be in a more instructor, less participant thing as I age and as the course of this goes on. We'll just have to see. My entire system has been built about adaptive training and adaptive understanding. That I need to allow myself to benefit from that process. Some of us are fragile in our old age. Now, John, you're about as fragile as a Mack truck, but yes, and we're going to see. That's why I'm planning to do some reviews on the lighter weapons. Basically, the next thing I review will probably be the synthetic sabers by Blue Gauntlet. Cindy wanted them, but in order to review them, you pair weapon. One thing. Okay, so stop. I'm getting out of hand. When you are training, there are a couple rules. Your armor should match the weapon. So, with a true soft trainer, okay, this is a true soft trainer. This is literally duct tape and camp pad. This is a soft trainer. As long as there's eye protection and groin protection, and I'm not stupid, I can go to town with something like this. This is a polypropylene sword. This is Sting. I loves it. And once I get some glow-in-the-dark paint, it might just glow. But this is much more stout. So I have to be careful. Oh, okay. That's wonderful. This is the Parry Dagger, okay? Now, they're black. This is orange to show up. I have another one that you'll see is black with a custom wrap guard. I have to fix my small sword that I pair with it because part of what I am developing personally is a lighter grade of weapon. This will hold up to the heavier weapons, but it's lighter on me. And with grip, and I have to work around my braces, that it becomes important. That's why I made my small sword, but the pommel fell off. I have to find where the pommel went and make it and reglue it to get the pommel and the balance right. But this is a very light weapon, very light balance. These are so that me adapting to what I need. This one and the Parry Dagger, when I find where I put it with the guard, won't probably be for use by everybody because unfortunately I need some custom gear. Yes. And yeah, pink things can happen. But I don't know. I may end up having to spray paint this orange on principle so it shows up well. But I really do love this little sword. And yes, John, sword. But that's so nice. It's just nice. I really do love this. There are a couple weapons I want to order from Purple Heart, but they keep going out. And I'm annoyed because I really, really, really want to order a couple things. Toothpick. Hey, John, you're a giant. Okay? You're a giant. You are superhuman. That means the weapons don't fit. Boot knife. Y'all see what I deal with. But that's okay, because I love you guys. And I love what we do. Give me just a second. You want to see something? I can show you guys an offensively small knife. This is an offensively small knife. This is the official stiletto of the Gnomish Mafia. You despise what thing? This thing? I kind of don't like it either sometimes because I can't carry it because the button is so pronounced it could go off in my pocket. But on some other levels, I love it for the audacity of it. It was one of those where I saw this at a festival. I paid too much for it. I don't remember how much it was, but I'm sure it was too much. At a little festival in Fowler, Indiana. And I looked at that and I'm like, oh, you have to be kidding me. Now, here. This is another knife. Here you go. Nice little. Yep. Little knives. I actually used to carry a lockback that was smaller than this. I used to carry a little lockback that big. It's actually what made me and Sword Sage become friends quickly because he realized anybody carrying a little knife that little either doesn't know what he's doing or knows how to use it, and he suspected. But here, I will show you there. This is a Bar Raz knife. This was given to me by the good folks at Bar Raz a long time ago now. It was at the first gun show I ever went to. I went with to see Steve Clausen. And it's a Damascus. It's real Damascus. It's not like just cheap out acid etch. I quite like that knife, but still looking for a decent picture of that sword we talked about last week. I got it on a brick. Well, if it's a gin, the details they're aesthetically important, but handling potentially not. But we'll figure something out to make it work. PHA has gin. Blades USA has some. We're gonna see. But yeah, we'll keep looking. Well, that went. That will make getting up a little more interesting, but that's okay. I don't have to worry about that till I get up. I mean, I'm still looking for a good trainer version of this beauty. Actually, I'm looking for about 4 of them because I need 2 for myself. This is still one of my favorite swords. I love teeny tiny knives. They amuse me. Ooh, I'm gonna have to do something about that. But don't my point. Oh, I will. My hands are starting to work. I'm going to be doing a project where I do some custom knife trainers with the HDP that John gave me. Wu-Tang Pine Patterned Sword. Yes, no, I lost the name. Is that pattern or patterned? Patterned. We'll go here. God, now I want to watch Kung Fu movies because you said Wu-Tang. It's not coming up on a Google search, but we can keep looking. And you know what? Oh yes, Nick is highly easily amused. If there's anything, yes, yes, I am. Go, Thesis, get on Sword Sage's site and ask him about it. I know my way around swords and I can find stuff, but he is the master of all things Jin, and I will defer to somebody who knows. I did look it up at one point, and I was trying to track down. I found a picture, but it was too grainy to be of any real use. I'd have to find it again. I don't have a lot of time for playing solo or MMO. I usually, where can I be found game wise? I don't know if this is safe to admit. I'm the world's worst first person shooter player. I am notoriously bad at first person shooters, but I enjoy first person shooters, if anything, because it's cathartic to yell and be frustrated and basically, because I'm the only person I know who can get a headshot on my, yes, getting shot in the face by myself. At one point, I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops 3 with Steve. Took aim at somebody, fired, thought I missed, ran, turned to see where I shot from to figure out how I could have missed, and got hit in the face with the pew I had fired. The air was blue. Yeah, MMOs, some are good, some I don't want to do math. This is why I avoid World of Warcraft. But if you ever look up Xbox, there is someone by the name of The White Boot. That is me. I usually am on something like Halo with my wife and a Master Chief Collection and a free game called Warface, which I actually was a beta tester 4 years ago and kind of got addicted. Oh, Might and Magic was the bomb diggity. Now, yes, so now solo games and slower games. I love a good top-down RPG crawl. Your Baldur's Gates, EverQuest, the Dungeons and Dragons Online. Yeah, that I was playing Neverwinter for a while, but it's not. Again, I don't play solo a lot because that means my wife is on screen, there and can't. Yeah, see, that's the problem. So many things flash, and Cindy is epileptic. I was an epileptic child. I grew out of it. I do. I get that. I will admit I am a huge Minecraft fan, although I don't normally play on servers. I may start. I may just start doing servers and playing on Minecraft because I really do. My family and I play offline together all the time. And that's one good thing about the consoles. You can play Bedrock Minecraft split screen, which is beautiful. And yeah, Minecraft is probably, if I had to make my favorite game right now, Minecraft is way up there. See, that's good. And see, this, guys, you see, we're off topic here, but that's good because we're all helping each other. And that's what's important. We need to help each other. We need to build up and build each other up. And we are still in a time of pandemic. Yes, everyone wants it to be done. I'm going to explain something here that hopefully can get referenced by friends, family, and foes alike. I am taking it as serious as I did since it was announced. When a lot of people say the whole pandemic, well, it's only a problem if you are compromised. I am compromised. I am one big target of messed upness that disease would wreck. So I will feel so much better in a couple, in a little under a week when I can get my first shot and I can deal with whatever the issues are from it, and then I can get my second shot because I'm under doctor's orders to take this deadly serious, and it's part of why I'm not working right now. You decide to let me know. I have a low character you can play. Love how you said that. Oh, wait. Oh, we'll be able to disable all sorts of those shenanigans. Will be fantastic. That's wonderful. And if you're referring to Sydney Cap, has one of the neatest lexicons of anyone I know. It is just, she uses phrasing that makes me happy. It's distinct and intelligent and personalized. And I do love that. The English language is meant to be personalized, in my opinion. If Shakespeare could make up words when he didn't have a word for what he wanted to say, all of us should have a level of doing that. And every time she says something like bomb diggity, I get a little shudder. That's awesome. And that's what we're about. We're about expression, guys. Now, because the cost of trainers, I was going to order a few, and I'm watching for people who are interested. They're scaled down longswords that are in development through Purple Heart Armory, but they're not in stock. Several of the weapons I would love to get my little mitts on for review and purpose are not in stock. There are some amazing things that he's doing really neat sales, so follow the affiliate link below in the comments. But don't be afraid to shop elsewhere either. I am not going to just shill from the guys who make me money. I'm going to find the stuff that works best. That's why I love this thing. This thing makes me so happy. Yes, it borders on copyright infringement. It is not quite a Sting, but boy, do I love this. I also love the cutlass they make. They pair well together. I'm thinking of a second of one, or if not both. These are just great little weapons. Also, I was looking on eBay of all places, and I was finding some of the trainers like this being offered in large lots. So they're basically direct sales. You know, they've got 50 or 70 left or whatever, but for nearly half the price of Amazon. So it pays, guys. When you find a trainer you like that is not from direct from the thing, like you want something from Purple Heart, go to Purple Heart, buy from them. Fine. But if you see something like Blades USA, which is I call them Blades USA. I've seen them under the Wu Jiao. I've seen them under a lot of names. I'm honestly not sure the real source manufacturer of these guys. But these polypropylene weapons, you can find them cheap if you dig. Please dig. That saves you money to buy training manuals. Like, I don't know, because I skipped my hour break plug fest, The Simple Sword by Nicholas Dagger. Or The Fighting Axe. Have another question while we're here, guys. I am planning to try to set up an Amazon merch site for the guild and some of my other projects. Now, it's not like KDP where you can just hop on. I have to apply, and I will see if I can get in. But if I can get in, especially Patreon members, let me know the kind of merch you would like to see. Obviously, guild-related stuff that I'm not going to say because I don't want somebody stealing my idea until I get it out. But we're going to have other ideas, merch materials. We're going to talk because I really have some stuff that I want out there. My comments went quiet, so I don't know if YouTube is glitching or if no one has anything to say. Not like this group, but you guys might all be researching, which is good. Research is good. It's important. 6 of you watching, 3 likes. Please help me fight this algorithm because the algorithm does not like to share my awesome stuff. Awesome. I'm glad you guys are still here. That was just a check because I've been talking to walls before, and I don't mind. But sewing a doll, oh, that's adorable. I want to serve you guys. Okay, I believe in servant leadership. There are 2 ways somebody can run something. You can either be the guy in the back up on the tower, go forth, my minions, or you can be down first in the muck. I will always be first in the muck and last out. Hey, okay, 1, it's an empanada. Okay, I am a fat guy. I appreciate cultural desserts from any thing or non-dessert items. I like food. ugly food usually tastes better. It's just a thing. You ever look at a bowl of chicken and dumplings that's done right? Aesthetically, if you don't understand what you're looking at, it doesn't look good, but it is so good. That being said, John said just got in from California, still jet lagged. Wow, ouch. Let's see, who's wow, ouch. Anyway, we this is so cool. Don't worry about how your food looks. Make good food, enjoy music, enjoy life. That's a big part of what we're about. I'm awesome. I hope you put them up on Facebook so we can see them because I'm curious now. But yeah, what weapons are you guys looking for, by the way? Like, I know the next weapon I'm probably going to review is the Blue Gauntlet synthetic sabers. Burn some cow on the grill. More meat on grill. Oof, oof. Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. I just wonder what they were eating if meat wasn't on the menu. Like, what do orcs eat? Is there orc tofu? To fork? And that's okay. Don't worry about it. I have to poke fun. I'm also that guy who will not let anyone else self-defamate for humor. It's totally hypocritical, I know, but a review of the boar spear. I actually great segue. Coming soon. My plan this week was to do some outside non-live reviews. The problem with that was my part of Indiana got hit from 60 to 30, and we got a few inches of snow. And by next Tuesday, it'll be 80 degrees. And such massive weather shifts basically grab me by the joints and wreak havoc. So there's a delay. But when John Miner visited us, he deposited not only, you got to see the spear he gave me, but another spear isn't there. And Steve, I have to do a review on that thing. Steve gave my wife a birthday present, and John gave my wife a birthday present. And I'm going to review both of them. It's just, they were both very generous in very different ways, and it staggers me sometimes. So I'm very appreciative. Yes, sitting is a great thing. I will tell you, after about 2 hours of doing this video, not sitting, there is a reason I always cut the camera before I get up, and it has nothing to do with that. It is loud and cumbersome, and yeah. But yes, sitting when you need to feels wonderful. Oh God, John, you're making me hungry, and I'm supposed to watch my cholesterol. Oh well, I will eat something awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. I understand that. And you know what? One thing I want to talk about, because I have some future videos that will be shorter form, not live. I'm going to talk about what I do to help prep as somebody with limitations, during practices, and then recovery. Now, some of it will involve over-the-counter medicines, but I'm not a doctor. So everyone, I am not a doctor. This just works for me. But I want to do a video on that because there's nobody really talking about that. And I will recommend some products. They will naturally be on the low end of cost because I don't use expensive things. So that is coming out. Actually, I knew I needed to do that. I need to write a note. Where are my post-it notes of knowledge? Here we go. Post-it note. Pre-fight. during recovery. Video. Okay. Boop. This is going to go on the wall of important things for me to remember. Doink, doink, doink. Okay. Hold on. I looked down and I lost track. Folks, you may need a new smoker for practice days. Yeah, actually, I don't have anything other than a Smoky Joe for practices, as during the moves, a tree fell on my old smoker. You know, losing your house is one thing. Having a tree fall on your smoker while you're trying to move out is a whole nother. Those were bad days. But yeah, so there's Smoker Joe. Anyway, things are getting better. Roasted pig, yes, we like. I sort of have gone beyond anything that OTC will cover, sadly. And that is very much a valid thing. But that is where you definitely want to talk to your doctor. And please, if you're before you start getting to do this, talk to your doctor about what you can do, what you can't do, and what can be recommended. A lot of us are trying to lose weight, so I think they're going to be understanding, but they'll also be careful. So be careful, okay? So that's why I'm going to stick to kind of OTC and long-term prep stuff. Roasted pig, you need it. Okay, OTC. She still makes fun of me because I can't sit still. Even watching these videos, I get up and wander around our living room. Sometimes it's funny because if you ask my wife, I am the same way normally. I like to get up. I like to wander. I pace. It's it's who I am. I have to fidget. Let's see. She can't still. But I imagine I'm still. Foxy says, but I manage and I'm still insanely careful not to do the addiction thing. Respect. And, you know, I have very strong opinions on addiction. I've had a lot of familial experience to the point where I am hyper vigilant for it because of my genetics. I have a rare allergy where alcohol makes my family. It's a very strange allergy. Alcohol makes us break out in handcuffs, and I don't like handcuffs. I am not on the side of that particular axis, which is, you know. Anyway, whoo, I'm almost getting a comment dump. This is glorious. Okay, OTC, not a fixed person. And that matters to me. How, Steve? I will never intentionally presume your generosity. Too many people in your life have basically sponged you for your generosity, and I will never consciously, knowingly, or intentionally do that. And if I ever slip into that, tell me immediately, because I would never want to do that. John says spear work with footwork, staff work with steps also. Spear work with... Steve said, I told you I'm taking care of the stuff for the next food day. I'm not even... Dear Lord. You'll have to talk to the boss. I am staggered by the thought of what that could mean. I will be doing a spear because the next book I worked on. I don't know why my wife is laughing maniacally. It's kind of scary. Is actually going to focus on sticks, staves, and spears. I think I have to see how it rolls out. Spear and shield. Hey, you want to get Spartan in here? We can get Spartan in here. I have no problem with that. I probably have had conditions. It's just they're not sure how to diagnose it. They just found out about the neuropathy, so who knows, all that. watching me on the phone can be exercise itself. LOL, that's great. Okay, now we go. Okay. And smokes. I avoided. Yeah, so do I. Caffeine is my only addiction, and that's in part because it helps me focus. But yes, I'm usually sewing and crocheting to keep the jitters down. Exactly. I have to fidget or do something. And you know what? I don't hold others to the standards I hold myself because we're all different. Wonder what my wife is laughing about so hard. But glaive, yeah, pole arms, glaives, great axe will I think after I do the staff stick book, pole arms will be in closer to the strong sword. We're gonna see. I want to splice them all together and then do videos. Okay, I'm glad you get it. Our arrows will blot out the shade, sun. Then we'll find in the shade. Yes, I love that. My only problem with 300 is historically the big reason that they did so well, aside from being much more military trained, is that they were wearing cuirasses. They were wearing brass breastplates, not airbrushed abs. I don't need to do that aside from chocolate, and I understand that. I have severe sleep problems, and there's some hints of ADD where ADHD, something like that, where the caffeine really does help me focus. They can provide chocolate for my cold dead hands. Yes, I have my caffeine, but I found out it's zero sugar, so you're not getting. Yeah, there's a lot of low caffeine products. I have to be careful because some of the sweeteners mess with me. But there's actually a Mountain Dew Zero I'm looking to try. Okay. Anyone who watches 300 for historical accuracy is a nutter. I was still running with the SCA at the time. They do everything for historical accuracy. So there were some very interesting conversations. It's fantastic. Yes, it is. But caffeine is fantastic. 300 is hilarious and fantastic. I do. Well, gee, guys, no, I would not like short thrusting swords. Ooh, maybe that sounds good. But though the tagline is beautiful. Okay. Oh no, artificial sugars can give neurological normal people the jitters. Artificial sugars don't give me the jitters; they upset my stomach. What would you? Let us know when you get one. Okay. I've totally lost track of the conversation. Like I was following it and I I bet Mountain Dew Zero is what you're referring to as fantastic. Let me know when you get one. I bet that's what you're talking about. So I think I caught up. My brain just derped, guys. It's funny. This is a fairly low energy. No, you guys are fine. Don't mind us. We're crazy. I'm a little derpy right now, and my caffeine levels have been fluctuating quite a bit today. Yeah, well, you have to be crazy, guys. We are sitting around on a Friday night at 9:45 local time, talking about sword fighting. No, when you get a short sword, not a dagger. Oh God. This is a short sword. This is nearly a full sword on me. So yeah, this with my reach and body mechanics is nearly a short sword. Apparently, somebody thought I was a huge guy. I was talking to one of the channels where they see me, and I think they were going by the proportion of my head. It's like, no, I'm not. I mean, I'm round in the middle. I'm roly poly cap. Uncle Iroh, early book one, but Okay, let's see. It's been 6 months now, and I've gotten to the point, I think, that artificial sweeteners don't bother me anymore. A&W Zero's Great Mountain Dew is good. Oh, yeah, there's calling Super Tall Monks, Jolly Green Giant, Filthy Nasty Hobbitses. Oh, True Steve, who would need to grow into a real sword. I have a host of friends. True Steve, I've only grown horizontally, folks. I've only grown horizontally. Oh, by the way, here, because somebody asked, God, Stabby still lives. Yeah, let's go! Swords! But I can still fight this. I can still fight this, too. Ooh, swish and poke. Brat. Hey, you know what? There is nothing wrong with the vertically challenged and horizontally gifted among us. I know my peoples. One thing, though, I realized something, and this actually, when I realized it, it kind of bothered me. So, a moment, and if this get this to the other guildies, I don't have a group picture. I do not have a single group picture with like most of or all my students. I don't. I think I would like that. I think I would like someday to get as many of you as possible and just get a picture. Probably silly, but things like that help, you know? But yeah. Sorry. Don't know why I got modeling for a second there. I don't usually allow that happen on my show. And that's not what you need, so I'm going to have another hit of this. Yes, John. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, hell. My birthday's at the end of summer. Maybe we can make an arrangement by then. I've been doing this a long time for a lot of series of small groups, so it's easy for me to forget. I never forget the individual, but I lose sight sometimes of how many folks I've been able to help and what I've known. It's odd. Sorry, I live with the Hobbit. It's interesting, Brat. I am a dwarf. I'm digging a hole. Diggy hole. Diggy diggy hole. Wow. God, what's the name? I know that band. I love that band. Anyway, like my 15-foot wingspan with long reports. Composite pick. Could you imagine how large the wings would be to lift them? Yeah, Dig a Hole is a great song. Cadavi de Profundo. God, I can't remember the name. There is a YouTube group that does dwarvish like Tolkien music. And if you want, yeah, but that's the dwarf metal, and I can't remember the dwarf metal's band. It just like bled out my ears. But yeah, I'm trying to listen to it, and I'm hearing a bizarre cover of Dig a Tunnel, Dig a Tunnel. But I'm not going to go any farther into that because I don't want to get sued by our dear friends at Disney who own that, and I was not trying to profit from it in any way, shape, or form. Wild Rose, yes. Yes, I believe so. Great fun. I love that. I'm just very careful with music on my channel because stuff gets blasted. So that's why I almost never have music. I am considering commissioning some music for the use of this channel. We'll have to see how that works. But it would be stuff that's actually composed solely for our channel, original stuff. I know a couple people. We'll see. But yeah. So there's going to be a lot of staff and stick stuff in the fairly near future. Probably some very lightsaber stuff in the near future. Yeah, well, See, we use the smoke detector as our oven timer because it always goes off before the food is done anyway. I don't get in trouble for that. Apparently, my toaster oven and my smoke detector don't get along too well, or they really have a love affair. I haven't quite figured out if they're shouting at each other passionately or offensively. It's like listening to the birds outside. Oh, God, symphonic metal, uh, Within Temptation, Nightwish. I actually got to see Nightwish live at the Aragon Ballroom. I'm sorry, I almost called it the Brawl Room because of the circles I travel in. They put on an amazing show, and the red bearded flutist is definitely some kind of fae. Um, I credit uh, Evanescence's Fallen album, the Fallen CD, for what got me through my last semester of college because I had to have two more classes and they were with the same professor and he staggered weekly papers. So every week I was writing a 20-page paper between these two courses. Oh my gosh. Uh, let's see. $1 million idea smoke detectors shout one yell I'm cooking. As the fickle hand of Melson comes whistling in from the dark to Gib slap Nick. Nah, she's not going to smite me right now. I'm in pretty good graces, all in all. Uh, yes, I am fiddling with things on my desk. It is not professional, but as I said, I fiddle, and I do like the weightiness. See, I like one thing, even though I like small knives, I do tend to like a bit of weight in the hand palm. This gets away with it because the grip, while it looks ridiculous, if you get a chance to hold one of these, they lock in so positively that I can't have a problem with it. It becomes that nice extension of my hand as a tool. Oh, Evanescence is great, but Nightwish's Phantom. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love. Oh God. I'm trying to remember who. Oh, I lost their name. They actually did. They did a soundtrack for the Dark Elf trilogy for Menzo Brannigan. Really great stuff. I think I have. I think I've heard of Halen. Uh, but yeah, I like good music, and I have a thing for symphonic rock, for prog rock, and anything that has a blues, deep folk, Mississippi Delta blues. Oh my God. Anything. Well, if it sounds like it would be right playing at about 3 a.m. when the world, that doesn't, that thinks it matters is asleep and the real world is just moving around and you're not doing much, but you can feel the dark and you can feel the hot or feel the cold. And it's a very visceral time. And you hear things like smooth jazz or good blues, bittersweet life stuff. Oh, I love that stuff. Music where it the trip of the music, and I don't mean like ooh, but like your mind is just following it, is enough that my body can relax, and it takes a whole lot. I do folk music, Spanish. Oh my gosh, Spanish, Spanish, Spanish guitar is a weakness of mine. I actually almost one of the first CDs I ever bought myself was the Desperado soundtrack. And if you have a chance, get it. Phenomenal. It has Spanish guitar, has Santana. If Santana doesn't groove you, I don't know what to do with you. But just some amazing stuff. A little bit Dire Straits in there. Just neat. And yeah, folk. I just wander to where the music tells a story. A good jazz. Miles Davies, Ramsey Lewis. These are people that hit. Uh, oh, God, I can't remember who sang Summertime. It just fell out. Beautiful sounding woman. If it could be sung by a torch singer, I love it. Godfly, Animalized publisher wants to chat about the Kickstarter. Have fun. Cindy, throw the link before you go. She's doing a comic based on her novel, and it's amazeballs. Speaking of that, I'm going to take a second to plug something else. If you look in the description of this video, there is a link. I'm involved with Luke Stone over at Luke Stone Studios and ties to Arrow 4.0. He's doing Hybrids, the Sons of Gods. It's at issue 7 now. Really neat independent comic book. And I was contracted, and I my extreme honor and pleasure to do a RPG for it. And the quick play version is included in the crowdfunding. So please look into that. Okay? It's wonderful. So, that would help me a lot. Oh, and Bohemian Rhapsody is magical. No one remembers learning it, but everybody kind of knows it. And Freddie Mercury was a siren. He sang in inhuman chords. He carried sorcery. It was amazing. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Season. Yeah, we are getting toward the end, so I'm going to do a bit of my pluggery real quick. Most of you guys talking are actually my patrons, so I'm incredibly grateful for you guys. I'm going to be redoing my list field. I'm going to be redoing my facilities, a lot of house repair for the purpose of making it good for practice in the next couple months. I have to plan ahead because of my physical limitations and the financial burden. If you want to help, please consider becoming a patron. On Patreon, just $1 a month does so much, not just for this, but for the community we're building here. Please like this video if you haven't. Please share. Thank you. I want to help you guys. I want to put it out there where learning how to sword fight, learning about the weapons and the gear, and improving yourself is accessible. Too many people are out there, I'm going to make a bunch of money. And that's just, I need money, but that's not my motivation. I'm trying to do good here. It's a little different. I don't think the world quite knows what to do with me, and that's okay. You fine folks do. If you are interested in what I'm talking about and you have Kindle Direct, Kindle Unlimited, all my books are free through Kindle Unlimited. I always set that up. You can also get them. And my game design, my Big Stompy Robots books, which is a wonderful tabletop game, and my and the novella set in that universe. I'm trying to get something rolling there. All that can be found and more at www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tucker. These couple hours are one of the things we look forward to. We sit and chat with all you lovely people. It feels like being home. Yeah, you guys, even when I was working, aside from my wife, I might see 3 adults. I care for my son, whom I love, and it's the greatest joy in the world, but it is also a 24-hour, pretty much a day gig, taking care of my son who's autistic. And with the pandemic and me having to be so careful, you guys have been my lifeline to the world, to reminding there are people out there that care, and allowed me, importantly, to keep doing good. We're adults. When did that happen? Well, you know what I mean. And that's what, if I'm not useful, I don't feel right. It's hard to explain. But if I'm not serving something, if I'm not doing something to make other people's lives better, I start to have problems. It's just who and what I am. So thank you, folks. I will. I'm a Weeby Toys kid. If I'm not tall enough to ride roller coasters, I'm not a grown. Valid point. I don't want to say you're not a grown up because that would have bad implications on your relationship with Bladed Thesis. But that's terrible. guys, I will try probably in this coming week, if everything goes well, to set up merch. That way you can support the channel and show cool stuff. And as things open up, I'm planning to eventually start doing conventions and stuff to sell books and other things. So I'll be talking to you guys about that. There's a lot coming. It's just we got to get through this last sort of push, you know. This has been an amazing live stream. I have had it's been good for my soul. I appreciate you guys so much. So what I want you to do is I fully understand that you're talking to the goofy guy who may or may not be a cryptid and fights with the shoggoths in my study. Maturity is a random concept around here. I'm me, I've been me, I'll always be me. I'm not sure what that means, but it is. It's been a problem for as long as I can remember. But thank you for everything. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Ring the bell and double check if you're watching this. You have no idea. Oh, actually, you do. That's funny. If you're watching this, double check that you are subscribed because YouTube's been unsubscribing people randomly, especially people who are related to things that might be on the edge of certain subjects. So you guys have a wonderful night. Oh, never feel sorry for sharing our creations. Be good to go. Start drilling. We're really gonna do some focus on getting back into shape. I will journal some of my journey back into some semblance of form if I'm capable of doing it. And I hope that will be beneficial. Ting ting, the fries are done. And otherwise, be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves, keep your guard up. And as always, friends, support your local sword master.